I hear Nebraska's not too happy, and that a lot of them are facing bankruptcy after they can't find people to work. A lot of people aren't coming to work right now, worried that they're going to get picked up by ICE. And there was even one family that said they had a 300-year-old ranch that they may lose. And I said, 300 years old ranch? That had been 1725. I wonder what the Native Americans thought about that one.
5 pickers showed up this morning to harvest his sweet potatoes. Farmer Keith Smith saw possible ruin, the loss of his $500,000 crop.
They're running scared because of this new law.
And you're in trouble.
I'm in trouble, bad trouble.
Smith's 200 acres need 20 pickers, mostly Mexican nationals.
There is not enough documented people here to supply that workforce.
Most of your workers are here illegally.
That's sure. If they got documentation, they got a better job working for me.
Does anybody care about Nebraska? That's the question that's going around TikTok right now, and to that, I respond with 2 questions. Did Nebraska care about anybody else? And does Nebraska care about Nebraska? Because, you see, God helps those who help themselves. And when you Nebraskans walked into the voting booth and overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump to be president, and now you're feeling the effects of that,
why that is. Could it be the racist rapist that you voted for that literally told you he was going to deport about 80% of your workforce, but you voted for him anyway because you wanted your bragging rights? That's right, you wanted to own those libs. Well, congratulations, Nebraska. You won your bragging rights, but now you lost your livelihood, and I have 0 fucks to give to you.
Greetings, family. I hope you're doing fantastic, and it's always a pleasure to always have you here in my channel. And so in today's topic, it's about the Nebraska farmers. They are begging Black Americans to go work in their farms because there's nobody to work in their farms. This is because most people who are running their farms, they were undocumented immigrants, and now they're gone. And the others who are left, they fear going to work in their farms because of the CIA. So this has sparked a lot of reaction from Americans, who many say that the Nebraska farmers are mean, They chose, they voted out of hate, even without even considering their labor force. They knew that Trump would deport immigrants, and they knew very well these immigrants were the people who are working on their farms. But they still went ahead and voted for Trump because they didn't want the idea of a Black woman leading them. So let's have a look first. Then we come back with a complete analysis about this story. Let's have a look.
From Nebraska, a farmer, she came on this video and she had one question. She said, does anybody in America care about Nebraska? Does anybody care about Nebraska? No. No, we don't. Let me tell you why I say this. 60% of Nebraska voted for Donald Trump, despite the fact he spent his entire election talking about his mass deportation plans. 65% of Nebraska workforce is illegal immigrants. Nebraska is a farming state, overran with farms. Now, 60% of Nebraskans voted for Trump. 65% of their workforce is illegal immigrants. And in 6 months, Nebraska's state will be going bankrupt. In 6 months, Nebraska will go belly up because they have lost their 65% of their working force in their farming industry. And she has the audacity, the caucasity, to get on here and ask if anybody cares about Nebraska. No, you don't care about Nebraska. Nebraska doesn't care about Nebraska. I'm sorry for the 40% that voted voted blue. I'm sorry for them. But Nebraska, no, baby, no, not a bit. When you go out here and do these self-inflicted wounds, don't come out crying, expecting for somebody to baby you up. No, you're going to swallow that. You're going to eat that. eat that. So now you guys are losing your farms. You've already lost your workforce. And as soon as it gets dire, the big farming corporations are going to swoop in and they're going to buy up your farms for pennies on the dollar. All because you true blue to Republican and Donald Trump that you're willing to even sacrifice your own livelihood and your own farms, your own way of life. Republicans mean so much to you. Donald Trump means so much to you. And what they represent and what they stand for means so much to you. To you guys are willing to sacrifice everything. And you have.
Racism is expensive, and corporations and billionaires don't care about you. This is probably breaking news to many who support and applaud mass deportations. Well, the people in Nebraska, the state of Nebraska, is starting to find out how expensive both of those things are, how expensive racism is, and how much corporations and the billionaires don't care about the working class, minorities, poor people, black people, and other non-billionaires. But here we go. So I hear Nebraska is on the brink of bankruptcy. Although it seems that they have found a little band-aid to put on their self-inflicted gashing wound by choosing and supporting mass deportations, which hurts their farms because it takes away the migrant workers who, instead of waiting for ICE agents to go and round them up and jam-pack them into some of those private prisons like Core Civic, and continue to enrich the billionaires while they lose while the farmers lose their workers. The migrants decided to self-deport to places where they can be and be okay, and not be in a community and communities of people who applaud and support mass deportations. So I guess those migrants were taking people's jobs. Where are those people? Come and take the jobs. They're there. The jobs are available. Why are these states, why is Nebraska potentially going bankrupt? Why are so much of America's farming country going belly up? Yeah, racism is expensive.
So no, we don't give a fuck about Nebraska going bankrupt in 6 months. Trump told you he's gonna do before you voted for him. And y'all voted for him. All y'all farmers in Nebraska voted for him because y'all admitted that y'all voted for him. So now in 6 months, all of y'all will be bankrupt. Go bankrupt. Maybe the rest of the red states will actually see what type of person he is, because he didn't give a fuck about you before. He damn sure don't give a fuck about you now. And that's y'all mistake. Learn from it.
What about Nebraska? What about Nebraska? Does anyone not care about Nebraska? Why should they? Coming from somebody who lives in Omaha, Nebraska, us blue voters, we did our part, okay? Including Lincoln. And what's so funny is I keep seeing all these farmers showing up on my For You page now because I live in Nebraska and that's all I'm going to see. What did y'all think was going to happen? Y'all are the ones that voted for this orange guy. I do not feel sorry for y'all because there are going to be consequences for your actions. And the fact that you thought you wouldn't be affected by this, so I'm going to hold y'all hand when I tell y'all this. Get y'all friends, get off them phones, and get in the field, okay? Pun intended. Y'all's racism actually overpowered y'all livelihood, and now y'all are seeing what's happening in real time. I don't feel sorry for y'all. So many of y'all are so upset that y'all workers aren't showing up to work. Oh, that's really unfortunate, love. But to my Omaha Nebraskans and my Lincoln Nebraskans, I stand with y'all. We knew this would happen, and we tried our best. And to the rest of you, I don't wish you good luck. Good riddance.
I don't think I want my tax dollars going to bail you out. I think you actually should sit in your decisions and feel the effects. You want us to. Every time we vote for a Democrat and you say they're horrible. So at this point in time, I'm going to tell you the same thing you say to me back. You wanted to vote for this. Now you get to deal with the consequences. And I don't think I should have to bail you out. Because I work hard for my money too. And my dollars shouldn't bail out your bad decisions. So yeah, today I'm telling you, the farmers here in Nebraska, you need to deal with your own decisions. It's your consequences, not mine, and I don't want to pay for them.
Have y'all seen that lady from Nebraska? Don't worry, I'm going to put it down here. She was one of the ones who came out and said, we voted for this and we regret it. She's one of the ones that's actually remorseful, not one of the ones that's coming on here going, yes, I asked for this, but please don't tell me how it's my fault that my consequences are affecting me and not just the people I hate now. I don't want to hear it, okay? Not that we don't care about them. But this one, they're cattle farmers. And I guess Nebraska is on track to go bankrupt in like 2 quarters. Okay. And the most interesting part of the piece that she put up, and I'm not saying this to throw shade, I'm saying it to emphasize what's up. Okay. She says, we knew that they were going to be coming for the undocumented. And here, almost everyone's a farmer of some kind. And 70% of our workforce is immigrant labor. And while we knew they were going to be coming for the undocumented, and we knew 70% of our workforce was going to fall into that category, we still supported this. And now thinking about it, I'm going to say it one more time, and now thinking about it, they realize it didn't make sense to support something that went against their own interests and to put their support in something that is now feeding their own demise. And I appreciate her for coming on here and giving these updates and just saying, with each time, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like, in retrospect, I can't believe I did that. In looking back, this made no sense. I did it anyway, knowing it didn't make sense. I appreciate her for that. Because we've got too many that are just incapable of doing that. Just incapable of saying, wow, yeah, I convinced myself to go against my own interests. Why did I do that? Like, that is work. That's self-work. Okay? And that's what we have room for. We have room for people that are like, wow, I now want to look into why I convinced myself to do something that was not going to help me. Why did I do that? We need more of that. And less people going, yeah, well, I'm just going to hold on to my hate and rage and anger, and I'm going to blame everyone else. And you know what? Yeah, I'm going to fight to keep my job. I'm getting a lawyer. Okay, I'm fighting this. I don't care if I asked for it. This isn't fair to me. It's not supposed to affect me. What about me and me and me? We don't care about them. Like I said, they can go fend for themselves. They can go fund themselves.
So this morning I ended up on Nebraska Talk, and it was a bunch of people crying, why does anybody care about Nebraska? When we voted for Kamala Harris, when I cast my vote for Harris, that was me saying, I care about you and I want you to survive and thrive. Okay, you knew better than anybody else that your state thrives and survives off of migrants' backs. Okay? And instead of them waiting for ICE to come, they decided to peace out before they could come and get them. I don't know what to tell you guys anymore. This is what you voted for. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, this is exactly what you voted for. And now you're feeling it. What do you want us to do? You want a government handout? That's socialism. You voted against that. No. Sadly, the reality is that you'll probably have to sell a lot of your farms for pennies on the dollar to large corporations and manufacturers. But don't worry, they'll probably let you work there for minimum wage.
Nebraska is about to go bankrupt in 6 months. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to smile. It's just a little ironic because majority of Nebraska voted for you-know-who, el pendejo, right? Majority of Nebraska is like, does anybody care about us? Like, we're about to go bankrupt in 6 months. And the reason why they're about to go bankrupt is because the majority of the workforce in Nebraska is built off, who do you think? The back to Latinos, right? That are undocumented. And they're scared to go to work. And they're not giving any money to the farmers. So their agriculture is dead. They're like, who cares? Like, can somebody come and help us? No, mijo. I have no pity for you. Sorry.
Wow. This is what happens when you vote from a place of hate and not logic. You chose Trump, yeah? You chose white supremacy. And now you want black Americans to come save you? Wow. You knew Trump was going to deport immigrants. You knew what his agenda was, but you still went ahead to vote for him. Not because it would help you and help your farm, but because whiteness meant more to you than humanity. You are not thinking about your labor force. You are not thinking about the economy, but because you didn't want the idea of a black woman leading you. You know, this is fascinating because black Americans were historically denied land and farming tools. And now the same system is asking them to come save agriculture. Let me remind you of a bit of history. You know, like our ancestors, they worked in these farms for free. They were whipped. They were broken. They were killed in a system that still benefits from today. They gave land to white immigrants, you know. But what did they give us? They gave us sharecropping. They gave us Jim Crow and redlining. They created a system that made it nearly impossible for black families to own land, let alone pass it. To the people of Nebraska, you never know what you have until it's gone. Hatred does not help, you know, it doesn't win. And racism is a bad business. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you found value in what you shared, kindly consider subscribing and turn on notifications so you never miss any update from my videos. Your support truly means a lot and it helps us keep bringing you more insightful content. Thanks again and see you in the next video.